All right, what's up everyone? It's Dave Stone with another exciting episode of Develop Awesome Skills. And it's February right now, but I was gonna wait until a few more weeks to trim all my moringas, but I think it's the time to do it right now. They're starting to show new growth, they're starting to pop, and so it's time to trim them so they can actually grow the way I want them to grow this year. So I'm gonna show you, these are the two PKM ones that we planted from seed last year. You know, they're getting pretty big. Pretty much this one's taller than me right now, and we have some plans for these. So this one feels like it wants to come straight up. One of these I want to come straight up, and I want it to kind of bush out. This is the west side of my mangoes over there, so if I can get this to bush out a little bit high, then it'll shade that hot sun from the mangoes at the end of the day. So hopefully I won't have to put a shade cloth up after a while when I get these trees in the right position. Now this one is bushing out. I actually had a pretty bad infestation of aphids on this one this year. I've seen a few people that also had some aphids on some of their moringas, but I just picked off all the leaves with the aphids on them, and I went and put them in the fire pit and just burned them. But anyways, I pulled off all the leaves, and this one's branching out pretty low. So I want to try the technique that a lot of the commercial growers and a lot of people try, is cutting this off pretty low to where it bushes out. It's right by the front door, so we can have a bushy moringa to eat right by the front door, which would be nice and convenient. So this one, I think it wants to grow up, so I'm going to let this one go. I'm not going to trim this one, but this one I am going to take down. I'm going to take it down. I have a lot of nice growth down here, so I'm just going to chop it right here at an angle. And I got my first cut, my first moringa trim. So I'm going to place this on the table here. All right, so this moringa is in my front yard too, and when I planted it, it was much smaller. The trunk has actually gained a lot of thickness just in the last, I think I only planted this a few months ago, like 3 months ago. So, but what happened was it started to just grow like crazy over winter. And since the sun, that's south, and the sun was going really low in the sky south, it just started growing that direction and like just reaching for the sun, and just, it's a really strong branch. But how I'm gonna prune this one is I want it to start branching out right about my eye level, so we can kind of get up, you know, build the canopy, help the carob on this side, which it's nicely growing in, but kind of merge these canopies. So what I'm gonna do on this top one is I'm gonna top it. I see a couple buds coming out here. I'm gonna top it right above those buds. Just like that. And I'm gonna harvest and dry these leaves too. And all these stray branches, I'm also gonna pop them off. I'm just gonna I'll come this one straight up to the branch. Yeah, I'll leave a little bit on this one. I can leave a little bit on this one. And then a few branches are already kind of growing up out of this one, so I'm going to take this branch off on the side that's kind of growing in. Just throw it down there for mulch. So there it is. I think that's a nicely pruned moringa for the spring, and it's going to now start going back up as the sun comes back straight overhead. And the days get longer, so this moringa is pruned. All right, so this one I'm really excited to show you guys. I mean, this is way up there. This was the root ball that I pulled out from the other one. This is Moana's root ball. So when we pulled Moana's root ball out, and I showed you guys on episode 91, I ended up using this root ball and planting it right into the ground here. And it was I had trimmed it right here, so it was all the way at the base. Trunk is getting nice and big, but there was 2 branches that sprouted off of it, off of the root ball, and now they're like 18 feet tall. So this happened really quick. This one grew really fast. So I want this one to also come up in canopy over my driveway and kind of touch the canopy on the other moringa that we just trimmed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to top this one as well. I'm probably going to end up taking this whole branch off, maybe. I think I'm going to leave it for now and see what happens. So I'll just top this one right above this nice junction that's growing a bud. There we go. And that'll start branching out on these ones here. And then, let me set this down. And then the same thing with this big boy. I'm definitely gonna plant these cuttings. So there's a nice branch coming here, a couple branches in there. I am getting sprouts along the edge here. I'm thinking about the same height. I do want these to get big. So I'm probably gonna come in right up here. And since this is such a big branch, I'm gonna need to open these pretty wide. Here it is, the top. Well, that's even as tall as me. And these are some really nice looking leaves for being after winter. These are really nice and green still. They're not yellowed at all. So it was really liking the spot that it's in. It likes all those wood chips. There's tons of chips right down there. So just keep that in mind. It's super green even after winter. It was sprouting flowers and everything. There's Moana the Moringa, trimmed and ready to explode for this year. Okay, so now I have something pretty exciting for you guys. You haven't seen it in a while. Well, maybe you have, because I have showed you little updates. But this is Maui. All right, so this is Maui. You can see the amount of wood chips I have here. This is the ground. And then this is the wood chips that I have here. And the trunk on Maui is huge. It's getting big. So what I'm gonna do, this one needs to come all the way down. So I'm gonna start taking these small branches off right above nodes. There she is. So now I'm gonna come back with the saw. I'm gonna cut this one off and these two off, and I'm gonna use them as cuttings. The final step on trimming Maui, and I cut her down a lot last year. Did a lot of videos on pruning moringas with Maui. So this year what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this main cut, and I'm gonna have other trees to harvest. So it's nice to have multiple trees so you can let some get big and you can harvest others. So I'll harvest part of her during the year sometimes, but ultimately I'm gonna let her grow pretty big and see how big she can get this year. So what I'm gonna do is, this is a really cool cutting. If I planted this in the ground, this would be a really interesting tree if it started to grow. So I'm gonna cut it right here. Nice clean cut. We got a real cool cutting to plant. We'll see how this one turns out. Honolulu is doing pretty good, so it's the perfect time to plant a cutting right now. So this branch broke off during one of the rainstorms that we got, but it already started sprouting a new one. So I'm gonna throw these in a pot here in a little bit. Right now I'm gonna put her on the ground and finish this cut. This final one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take this off too, right at the same level. There it is. So there's Maui. Once again, just a trunk, nice thick trunk. I'll tell you, I don't remember when I cut this last, but it wasn't that long ago, maybe 3 months ago, and it just popped up. Even during winter, it's just so much new growth. So now we got a couple more cuttings and a whole bunch of moringa to dry out. So I think I'm going to be trying to find a dehydrator, just a basic one, and using it on a very low temperature, like 118. Since they grow out here, it was 127 in my front yard last year. So as long as you dehydrate at under 120 degrees, you retain all the living material in the food. So that's what I'm going to do, and it actually dehydrates so much faster. You can do it in a day instead of like basically a week or more. So all right guys, well that's Maui. So let's go see if we have any other moringas to trim. All right, we got the 2 moringas here. We got the super heavy seed producer, which these pods are coming in like it's like dripping pods. It's amazing. So this one's about to dry out. This was the first pod that came on the tree. It's nice and thick, so I want these as many to dry out as possible, so I'm not going to prune this tree. In fact, I could probably prune some of these flowers off just so it doesn't put any production into new flowers and it just focuses on drying those pods out. Or maybe the flowers coming in will actually take all the energy here, so it'll stop giving energy to these pods and hopefully start drying them out. So I'm going to leave this one, but this is the one that we air layered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off all the other branches that are not air layered right now, just to kind of give this tree a trim. This is the giant leaf. There we go. Got one down. These are some nice pine wood chips that I just got. Whole brand new load. And all the other branches are air layered. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 air layered branches. I'm gonna leave those. It's gonna look super scraggly even more, but that's okay. Okay, so here's the native soil moringas that I planted in all native soil. They have this one up here, this one, and that one back there. There's one right behind the camera that's actually doing pretty well, but all 3 of these ended up dying back to the root. This, it hit, the frost hit it pretty good, and I'm gonna bring the camera and show you closer, but there's an area down here. This part of the branch is still alive, but this part is dead. Down to the root ball is still alive. So I'm gonna have to take these all the way to the ground, but the root ball is nice and thick. So I'm gonna give you a close-up real quick just so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so here's the native soil moringas. This little native soil moringa is doing pretty well. It didn't get hit by the frost much. There's 2 of them in this hole. This is the one I wrapped around the other one. You can see that. So this one's actually, these 2 are doing pretty well in the hole. But this one, same as my other one. So the top, you can see these branches look green. But when you come down here, that's brown. And if you scratch it, it's all the way brown. There's no green in that branch at the bottom. So this died all the way back to the root. So let's come down to this root, see what we're dealing with. A lot of wood chips. So here's the root, right there. So it's a thick root ball, but there was these 3 branches. This is the triple trunk that came out. I'm just gonna chop it right here, all these 3 off, because this is alive down here and it's nice and thriving. But starting here, it started to die. All this died in the middle, but then you can see how this is still green. So this is still alive. You know, not that this cutting would work because this is a very thin cutting, but this root is not dead. This root is definitely alive. So this is just the one that I had the triple trunk, and then these are the other 2 stronger native soils, but they both got hit by different frosts. And you can see down here, the root just wants to keep coming, and this is where it started dying. So this is when you scratch it here, it's just brown, but then right here it really shriveled up right here, but then right here you can see where there's still life in the moringa.
So this cutting may not work because it already died down here, but I might try this cutting because it's a little bit thicker, about a ½ inch thick. But the trunk looks real nice. I'm gonna end up topping this right here. And then the same thing with this one. This lost all its leaves. It was a very strong growing moringa, but it died right here, dried up. And nice thick trunk though, that's gonna come back. So I'm gonna trim it right here. So we're just gonna come in here, right there, take it down. So there's one of them. Come over here, see how long it takes these to sprout. Yep, there's a nice trunk. I'm just gonna come in right up in here. 2 down. And then triple trunk. We come in here and take off all these guys down here. There it is. Triple trunk is pruned.
So that's the pretty much most of the moringas. The last 2 cuttings that I have here is Honolulu. It's the cutting off the tip of Maui. We planted in fall, and it's sprouting real nice. So I'm excited to take the other Maui cuttings now. Then we have the giant leaf cutting right here, and she's doing really well too. So that's the moringa update. I had to trim those moringas. I wanted to do it on camera with you guys, so hopefully you can know how you want to shape your moringa, how you want to trim it. You can try different stuff. The more you take from this tree, the more it gives. So just be respectful of this tree and appreciate it and tell it you love it, because I love moringa. I want more moringa. Hashtag I want more moringa. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching this video, and I just want to say thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. And if you guys do want to support me, go to patreon.com/developawesomeskills, and let's plant some trees together. And if you like this video, give me a big green thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and comment below, and share this video with other people who want to know more about moringa, because we need to plant more moringas in the world. There's a lot of reasons to do it, and a lot of videos coming up on the health benefits and other things about moringa. So stay tuned and hit that little bell button so you guys can get updates. And until next time, develop awesome skills. Love you guys.
All right, so that noise over there is my washing, all right, so that noise over there is my dryer. I don't know what's going on with it. And my kitty's underneath the moringa. She loves moringa. So this is the haul I got today. It's how much moringa. Some of it is yellow, which is still nutritious. It just has lost some of the chlorophyll. But you can still dry these and powder them up. They're definitely still nutritious. So I just got a food dehydrator. Very cheap and simple one. 50 bucks on Amazon. It's coming in the mail. So as soon as like, hey baby, what are you doing? She just likes being around moringa, and whenever I'm here videoing, she likes to jump in the video. But anyways, I'm gonna be washing this, trimming it up, washing it, and then throwing it in the dehydrator and then grinding it up. And we are going to have some powder for the house for a little while until all the other trees start growing in. And we got some really cool cuttings, tons of cuttings. Hey baby, what are you doing? You get so hyper around moringa. What are you doing? We got all these cuttings, so I think we can try to root. We got this really nice, awesome cutting too here. So there it is.